Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Awesemo.com lineup building show presented by Jock Market. Talking some FanDuel lineups today, and week 14 should be a pretty fun one. So let's go. I built three lineups. The first one is kind of our chalk stack of the day. That's the Bills. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buffalo game is going to be, pretty fantastic for fantasy. A lot of passing. And I'm not really worried about Buffalo's performance last week. It was just way too windy. So I want to the pass catchers here. I think going to Diggs plus one of this. I guess all the other ones aren't super high owned. So Beasley would be my preferred option just because he gets a ton of targets when he's on the field. More likely to be on the field if they're down in the game. Then there's a lot of great run back options. So Evans, Godwin, Gronk would be my preferred ones just by hoping they pass more, extend the game. So Godwin seems like a reasonable play. At running back, okay, so Saquon Barkley is definitely a target of mine this week. Regardless of whether it's Clinton or Fromm starting, he should get a lot of targets. So that's going to really add up. Ezekiel Elliott's like rather cheap on FanDuel this week, and Tony Pollard is kind of banged up. He has a torn plantar fascia, so I don't think there's much worry in Zeke not getting his normal run and potentially even more. So I definitely like him. I want to go a little bit cheaper at defense so that I can make this lineup work. The Jets facing Taysom Hill. I mean, probably not the most passing attempts, which you're hoping for if you pick the defense, but he does turn it over a lot. So there's a lot of potential here. I already have. I have a Zeke, so maybe instead of Dalton Schultz, I want to go to Jared Cook. With Keenan Allen likely out this weekend, I think that Cook is going to get a little bit more target share. It's a good matchup. And Eckler is going to be really popular. So going to the passing game could be a little bit of leverage. I got 7,100 left for Renfro. I could go to Javonte Williams. He's probably the better option as far as projection. I'm getting that this lineup's a little bit too chalky. So maybe I need to throw in a contrarian piece of Foreman. And then I can upgrade my defense. This really boosted my contrarian ranking, which is how many lineups I'm expected to have lower ownership than. So that is a win. And then I have 4,200 left for defense. I think Chiefs versus the Raiders. That one's interesting. Seahawks versus Texans. There we go. Oh, wait, that's 4,500. My bad. Browns versus Ravens. Bengals versus San Francisco. Nothing's really jumping out at me. Cowboys football team. At least then we have the leverage, or I mean the correlation with Ezekiel Elliott and Cowboys defense. All right, so that got me in the 70 to 80th percentile in projection, our value ranking. So that's pretty good and fairly contrarian. All right, next lineup, Taysom Hill. Definitely someone I prefer more on FanDuel because touchdowns are going to matter more than yardage. I'm not really expecting the receivers to get a ton of yardage. So let's pair them up with one of them. Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway are probably your best options. I'm just worried there's not going to be a ton of passing to the running back position in Kamara. So Traquan Smith. Not a guy I normally have, but I really want someone to pair in the stack with Taysom. And on the other side, we can probably run it back with Elijah Moore. That'll be your chalk option. There's not really anyone else that's really looking playable at the moment. We'll see if some of the guys are out, but all right. With Corey Davis out for the year, I think that should open up some playing time. But the problem is with Mims and Keelan Cole both back, it's not really clear if either of them is going to get enough. All right. Let's go to Javonte Williams in this lineup. he had an amazing week last week, and the match was fantastic. I'm kind of wondering if he gets a little bit more than that 50% he's been getting. I want to mention our sponsor, Jock Market. You can kind of invest in these players. So Javonte Williams kind of taking a leap up this week potentially. We have him projected for a $5.35 return on each share of Javonte Williams. So you can get him for $5 or less. You're going to most likely make a profit over the long run. So you can kind of use our Jock Market projections to gauge what the best IPO prices are. You can get a free $100 match bonus if you use that promo code Awesemo. So make sure to check out Jock Market. All right. Let's get a tight end in here. We have plenty of money, so let's go to one of the chalk options, Travis Kelce. I mean, not quite as good this year, but still fantastic. And let's at running back, I think we can get in a relatively expensive one. Let's go with Fournette. This game's going to be really popular for stacking, so I think going with the running back could be a nice leverage play. And wide receiver, DJ Moore is someone I'm kind of looking into. I think that the Panthers are going to pass less with Cam Newton at quarterback, but Christian McCaffrey's also out, so two counteracting factors. I think Moore is just a little bit underpriced here, and I'm not expecting a lot of passes to the running backs in Carolina. That should mean more to DJ Moore. All right, we got $5,900 left per player. I think we can get our defense here. Let's go a little bit contrarian with the defense because we kind of went chalky with the rest of the lineup. So the Texans versus Seattle. I don't think anyone's going to want to play the Texans C, but Russell Wilson hasn't been quite as good this year. So I got NBA in my mind, but still, I think that's a solid contrarian play. Stephon Diggs kind of fills out the lineup. Did get that this lineup is a little bit too chalky, so you might want to make some tweaks to this to get the contrarian ranking up. If you're under 10%, that generally means your lineup's not differentiated enough. There's a big risk of making a Taysom Hill lineup because there's only so many ways to do that. All right. Speaking of Russell Westbrook, aka Russell Wilson, I think that he's a pretty interesting stack option this week because the Seahawks run game's just been a disaster. Like Alex Collins is supposed to be back this week and feeling good, but he's not been able to do much. They're really stronger in passing. They just don't do it as much as you'd hope. But I think if Houston can put up some points here, we could get a pretty good output from Seattle versus weak defense. So Lockett and Metcalf, both great options, as well as Everett. So I think if I go with two of those three, let's go with Metcalf, Everett, and then run it back with Brandon Cooks. We got a nice little stack here at low ownership. So running backs, let's see. Let's go with Chuba Hubbard. I think a little bit riskier with Cam Newton getting a lot of the goal line carries, but his ownership's only 3.6 and he's cheap. Not a lot of value right now on FanDuel. So I want one guy that's a little bit off the radar for my large field lineups, and Chuba Hubbard seems like a reasonable option. Joe Mixon, a little bit of a tougher matchup this week, but he's shown that upside. I think that exists this week, even if it's not quite as likely. The Saints defense, that one's a really good play versus the Jets, and possibly if everyone's going to Taysom Hill, might be a little bit less owned than you think. And then wide receiver, Godwin. Tampa throws a ton, and Buffalo is likely to stay competitive in this one. So I think that's a great play. And 6,200 left. I can get a little bit edgy with Russell Gage. He's really under the radar, but I do only have 60 to 70% value ranking. So maybe let's try a couple different players in here. Gage, try Foreman. I think there's reason to be excited about him because the matchup's so good versus Jacksonville, and he did get more of the carries last week. He's kind of their positive game script guy, where Hilliard and McNichols are more passing downs guys. So I think that's a pretty good play. Got a really high differentiation factor with a contrarian ranking over 90%, 80 to 90th percentile in projection. So I think this one's really good. All right, guys. I hope that gave you some ideas for week 14. Make sure to check out our sponsor, Jock Market, $300 with the promo code Awesemo. Now, let me know what you think about these lineups in the comments, which way you're going with lineups this week, and good luck this week.